Star Wars ranking can be a very touchy subject. People feel very strongly about certain movies, and whichever one you love or hate, there are going to be people who feel the complete opposite. Somebody's always yelling about nostalgia, others about originality. And somehow every single movie is both overrated and underrated at the exact same time. So today, we're solving it once and for all, at least here on Talk Talk Punch. We have ranked all 11 action Star Wars movies, except there's a catch. Only 10 make the list, which means each one of us had to leave one movie completely off. As we go, we're going to hand out points. Number 10 gets 1 point, number 9 gets 2 points, all the way up to number 1 getting 10 points. Then at the end, we'll combine all our scores together to reveal the official Talk Talk Punch top 3 Star Wars movies. I'm Brody, that's Tudong Dylan, that's Charlie, and this is Talk Talk Punch. And honestly, this is one of those special kind of episodes for us because ranking Star Wars movies was actually the topic that Charlie and I did for our very first episode of Talk Talk Punch almost 6 years ago, even before Dylan joined us.
Far
it was our episode 0 that we even joked in the episode that no one would ever see because it was basically a test run for this whole thing. But obviously it did okay because we're still here. So this feels like a bit of a full circle for us. And we've talked a lot of Star Wars over the years, but this is the first time that we've actually revisited this specific topic of ranking all of these. So this will be a fun one. And while I'm doing this kind of admin here, we realize that people feel strongly about these movies. The three of us aren't going to 100% agree with each other. And you probably aren't going to 100% agree with us. And that's okay. We can still be cool with each other and you can still be nice in the comments. So definitely post your rankings below because I'm really curious where people land on some of these movies. Let's just have some fun with this. So with that out of the way.
Tell us why. Tell us why too. You know, don't just give us your rankings. We want to know why you think it. We can change our minds. You can change our minds too.
Sure. I was really between a couple on this. This was way harder than I remember it being.
Yeah.
And
did you guys use really the same rankings?
No. I didn't reference.
I have no idea what I did back then.
I should go back and check. But I did not. I did it all new for this episode. So. Oh, all right. How did you guys feel about this? Because I had a really hard time with it.
This is one of those ones where I feel like rankings doesn't capture how I feel because I feel like there's tiers, and you know it's like the top end I feel a lot of conviction about, and then in the back end there's a lot of movies that are going to be separated here in rankings that's going to feel very black and white, but really they're in tiers of things where they're kind of interchangeable. I don't feel much better about my 7 than I do my 10. You know, for instance, some stuff like that. But it was hard. The back half was very hard for me.
Yes, especially the back half. There was 2 in particular that I was like, I don't know which one I want to put above, and I'll address that when we get to it. But to start out, okay, there are 11 live action Star Wars movies. 12 soon once the summer goes through. What was the one that you guys left off of your list?
You want us to tell? You
don't want to be surprised?
Oh, should we wait till the end to just figure it out?
We can. We'll reveal it as we go.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll do that. All right. Then let's move right on to our number 10s. All right. Dylan has the Rise of Sky. Is that the Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
Yes. Charlie has Solo, and I have Episode 2. You guys don't have Episode 2 as your very bottom.
Well, if it was my very bottom, it wouldn't even be on the list.
I guess
that's also true.
I thought you liked Ewan McGregor. You don't like Ewan McGregor? He's great. He's great in Clones.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones. He's fantastic.
Now, Attack of the Clones is the weakest one, though. There's not that much. There's not that much Ewan McGregor. There's not that much.
What do you mean not that much? What are you talking about?
What's he going to Camino and talking to the Caminans and learning about the stuff?
He fights Jango Fett, then he meets and fights Dooku. Anakin gets his arm cut off. Yoda fights for the very first time. Padme gets her shirt turned into like a halter top.
You're making fun of me.
No, I'd be much too frightened to tease a senator.
It's character
There's
development.
also
Character development.
there's also a lot of bad in that movie though, and this is
There's a lot
this
of
is
bad.
coming. This is
There's
coming
a
from
lot of
somebody
bad, but
who defended this movie to people who were coming out of the theater bashing it, and I was like, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It's rough, man. This is a rough watch. I don't know when the last time you guys watched Attack of the Clones
You know
was.
what?
It's tough to watch. It's not good.
Okay. First of all, and this is just first, I've seen Attack of the Clones in theaters. I didn't even go and see Rise of Skywalker in the theaters. And then when it got onto Disney Plus, I was watching it and I was just like, I'm so glad I did not see this in the theaters. This is so freaking bad, bro. I couldn't say one thing about it that I knew about. In the second one, I could be like, all right, well, Luke Skywalker threw his lightsaber. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. General Hux is, for some reason, somehow, suddenly, a musical theater major, and he's like, I'm the one who's the traitor. I never understood why. That's the only thing I can say from it. Didn't like the movie. Couldn't tell you anything about it. Like, John Boyega was completely written out almost, except for the one time he's going under the sand and he's like, hey, I got something to tell you. And he never gets to say it. I mean, like, his character really got just trashed in this entire trilogy. But they had no clear vision. They didn't know what they were doing. We had no clue. They didn't either. There was no plan. It was boring. That's the worst thing. The Rise of Skywalker
Boring.
and the one right before it, shockingly boring. Like, shockingly boring. I couldn't believe how freaking boring both of those movies were. I didn't care.
Dylan.
Yes, Brody.
I've got 2 words for you. Bobo Frick. Babu Frick.
Bob
Too
Frick,
long.
baby.
Babu Frick.
What the heck?
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. For a second, I thought you were talking about like oh, shit. Okay, but yeah, no. I thought you were talking about the
we gotta
code,
move on.
the
What number
decode.
9?
Yeah, moving on.
No, we're already 10 minutes into the episode. We've only done number 10s. All right,
let's go.
Oh.
number 9s. All right, Dylan has The Last Jedi. I can tell because it's Princess Leia. And Charlie has The Phantom Menace, and I also have The Last Jedi because I recognize the frozen
Charlie has the Phantom
dead
Menace,
Leia,
really?
who
Yeah,
wasn't
Phantom
dead.
Menace.
She wasn't dead. She
wasn't
used
dead.
the Force.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, I just got to say something. I'm guessing that Charlie. I think that this is the one that Charlie didn't put on the list. Charlie really hates this movie. Charlie
Whoa.
Charlie like really has an issue with Last Jedi. I remember trying to defend it, trying so hard to like it, to see the good. I think there's some good in there, but when I think back, all I think about are like, I don't know that I really want to watch it again. And that's just kind of where it landed. Is I'm just like, I don't feel the need to revisit this one, which I remember defending it. I remember like arguing with you, Charlie, because we argued about this movie, and now I'm like, yeah, I don't remember anything that I want to rewatch. Like the throne room scene was cool, the fight scene was cool.
There were some cool moments. There were some really visually beautiful moments.
But yeah, and so now it's
With
down
that
at number
device,
9.
that thing fell right past that girl, but somehow she became super speed and just grabs it right out of the air. I was like, oh, come on. And everything with what General Holdo or whatever, Admiral Holdo, who was just unimaginably just ridiculous. And she's trying to create dissent. I was actively upset. I was like, I don't blame Poe Dameron in any way. He should have like taken his gun out and been like, forget this whole, you guys are going off the bridge. I'm going to shoot you now. Clearly, you
guys
hate all of us
had
and
a
want
lot
us to
of
die.
bad things to say about 2 movies that made your list. I'm just saying, like, you could have left either of these off. You seem to hate them so
See,
much.
here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. I actually don't remember Solo at all. I know I watched it. I can't remember.
That's why
Nothing.
it's 10. It doesn't make you mad. You put
No,
it,
I
put
can't
on
remember
there.
it. I'm like, I don't even remember. I know I must have watched it. But
I
what
remember
happened? Donald
in the theater
Glover's in
with
it.
my
I don't
kid.
remember him.
And I with my two oldest sons, and I remember David looking at me, and he goes, "Dad, did Chewbacca eat that guy?" Because he's like in the
Because there's a
bones.
whole bunch of skeletons down in his prison.
We're gonna
He
go.
did.
I'm sure Chewbacca wouldn't eat the people. They're just
You're like, no,
bones,
those were
you
already
know?
there. Those were
They're
already there.
Chewbacca's not eating people. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a good movie. But look, I purposely left Jedi off because it's very divisive, and I have my strong feelings about it. But that's not what this list is about. I don't need to sit here and complain to you guys about why they're doing your mom jokes and calling people Chrome Dome.
Let's go, Chrome Dome.
Why they took every single plot point from the first movie and completely threw it away. Literally threw it away in the
Suddenly-
case of Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker getting
yeah.
his father's lightsaber. I mean, like,
We've got
why?
to talk
we don't
about
need to go into it.
fuel.
We
We
don't
never
need to talk
talked
about
about
Princess
fuel.
Leia going Superman and or Peter Pan through space with the Force that she hasn't used since we found out she was Force sensitive for some reason, but now she's using it. We don't need to talk about the way they treated the characters of Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia in general. We don't need to talk about any of it. It was made by someone who clearly didn't like Star Wars. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
2 hours later.
Not a good movie, not on my list, so I don't have to rant about it. But if you are curious about my feelings about it, we could do a whole episode on that. It's fine. We can we can talk
Well,
Last Jedi.
Charlie, speaking of people who don't like Star Wars, Phantom Menace.
Man, look, the Darth Maul stuff is so cool that this could have been way higher up on my list. But there's just so much. I can't shake the way that I felt watching this in the theater, how excited I was.
Yeah.
The excitement I had, and then there's the little kid and the terrible pod racing and Jar Jar Binks and just long, boring exposition, and it just like
About trade and like,
and then we're talking metachlorians, and I don't know, like it was just there's just I have such an aftertaste from this one. This is probably an objectively a better film than Attack of the Clones, but when I think of Attack of the Clones, it feels very benign. Like it just doesn't evoke a memory of like, you know, like that just that flavor that still kind of like that kernel of popcorn still stuck in my teeth that Phantom Menace does. Like what could have been, and then this like now we're launching into this new trilogy that's going to be ultimately so disappointing. And oh man, all that build up. You and I at the midnight showing, Brody. The midnight showing. We were so excited. We were practically dressed as Jedis. And then sitting there and Denny's quietly after going like, well, it wasn't horrible. Could have been. There are things about it that were good.
it wasn't
know.
bad. It wasn't bad, right? Hey,
Let's talk about the positive things.
The lightsaber fight was amazing.
How cool was the score? Like your
Duel of the Fates. Some of the best
first
music
thing
I've
you
ever
could say
heard.
about a movie was this is what a great score. Yeah,
And the lightsaber fight.
Yeah, that was
That's
like
kind of
5 minutes of that movie
all
that
I
were
keep.
super cool.
Yeah, that's all I can really come back to is like, well, but the Duel of the Fates is awesome.
Duel of Fates
And it's
is
like-
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but then everything else. Well, I'm not talking about it. I'm not there yet. But
Yeah.
So there you go. There are the number 9s. Let's move on to number 8.
Hopefully some nice
15
things to
minutes
say
late.
about some of these movies soon.
All right. Dylan has Rogue One. Charlie has Episode
Yep.
2. And I have Phantom Menace. So I'm going to jump in.
Wow.
because I had just kind of
What's the love
started talking about Phantom Menace a little bit. I'm going to kind of carry on what Charlie was saying. Yeah, it's for the good things that are in there. Darth Maul is awesome. Duel of the
Darth Maul's
Fates is awesome. Qui-Gon Jinn is mostly awesome.
Mostly awesome.
Not a whole lot of Ewan McGregor.
man.
I think that, you know, he really his Obi-Wan really kind of peaked later on. But there is so much that is just not good in this movie. There is so much bad CGI. There is so much dumb character. There's so much like extra in this movie that didn't need to exist because they already had a universe from 4, 5, 6 that they could have pulled from. And so the trade and the economics and it's like, what is this movie? And I really struggled. My number 7 and number 8, I went really back and forth with. And ultimately, Phantom Menace wound up at 8. Number 7 wound up at 7. But I just couldn't get past the rest of the movie. Yes, I love Duel of Fates. I could watch Duel of Fates over and over and over again, but I don't want to watch the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I was the nicest thing I can say about this movie is our dear friend Dave, may he rest in peace, used to do a great Watto impression. And he would go,
Yeah.
mind tricks no work on me, only money. And it was just like spot on. And so that still brings me joy when I think of Watto. But yeah, not my favorite. Rogue One though, Dylan, this is low. Rogue One at 8.
I'm surprised that this is so low.
So
Why? Yeah, it's not that low.
Well, you'll find out
care
later.
For majority of these characters. Some of these characters I thought were fantastic. Donnie Yen's character and his husband in it, I thought they were fantastic. Alan Tudyk is always
friends.
phenomenal. I did not care about everybody else who was like, I was just like, that's great. Oh, she's going to rebel. That's fantastic. Thank you, Andor. I haven't watched the TV series, but I mean, I will say this. It's higher on the list for one reason only. And that is the Darth Vader fight scene at the very end. Yeah, that's right, folks.
So good.
That's all it needs. In fact, anytime I do watch Rogue One, that's the only scene I watch. The best scene of the movie. The only scene of the movie. Period.
No.
I don't care about these people. Oh, they're rebels, so they're going to rebel. That's great. You got, and I love Donnie Yen as the blind force sensitive, not Jedi, which is why it comes down a little bit. Why wasn't he a Jedi? He's fantastic. It's Donnie Yen. That really would have worked. Really would have worked. He was so cool in that. And he was so underused. Yeah, like 2 or 3 scenes or something like that. And I was like, that's what you do? I got to see all of these other people? You got to kill off Alan Tudyk's character? But then you got Darth Vader. And the world is... It's Alan Tudyk, bro. It doesn't matter if it's a droid, if it's a parrot, if it's a chicken, doesn't matter what he is. A toucan, like in Encanto.
Stop killing. Stop
doesn't
killing
matter.
him off.
Don't kill off Alan
Leave
Tudyk.
Alone.
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
But then you get one of the best Darth Vader scenes ever. That I would have put it a little bit higher if it was just that, actually.
Oh, I will just say this
is just that.
Higher on my list. I'm a bit surprised that this is
brought
this
you
low.
joy.
Number 8, Tudong. There's a lot of movies still to go that I think are much worse than this movie.
I know Dylan hasn't had a single crossover with me yet, and he's just got the one with you. So Dylan loves those prequels. They're coming.
Yeah, apparently he does.
Whatever happened to Felicity Jones?
We'll
have to talk about that when the next.
What are you talking about? She's in a bunch of movies. Too many.
Felicity Jones. Yeah, name since Rogue One. Name 3 movies she's been in. You think about that while we do our number 7s.
She was in that one with
7. That's what? That's Revenge of the Sith. That's his number 7.
I'll say this. Yeah.
Hold on. Wait.
Right.
Not yet. Stop.
Be the wild card.
Stop. Number 7. Dylan has Revenge of the Sith. Charlie has The Rise of Skywalker, and I have The Rise of Skywalker.
Hey.
So Charlie and I have a crossover. I crossed over with Charlie and with Dylan. Okay, Dylan, Revenge of the Sith. Wait down at number 7, dude.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
Rise of Skywalker is at the quasi bottom of my list, so I hated it even more. So, but I'll say this: there were things. Okay, I've come to appreciate it more, but I still had the anger and vitriol when I watched it. I don't quite understand. Hey, you know what? There's a lot of CGI. Fine, I get it. You're going to do all of that. I don't know what. There's a scene where Padme's talking to Anakin, and she's just like. He's like, yeah, I love you. Oh, you're beautiful. She's like, you think I'm beautiful? You love me. She's like brushing her hair, and she looks at him, and she looks like I was like, what did he just do? That's not Natalie Portman. Suddenly, she looks like a crazy witch. She's like, ah! And he's like, I'll never forgive you for that, George. I don't know what you did. Natalie Portman, one of the, at the time, pretty, like just prettiest human
At the
beings,
time,
even
she's
inside,
still
all
a
that
pretty
kind of thing.
lady.
And then she turns and she's like, "Ah! You large monster, George. Why would you do this? I don't get it. You large monster." I saw it and I was like, it's got to be like her. It can't be her. It's not her. Ah, stop it! Don't do that to me. I
Dylan,
did not care.
There are there are so many movies, so many other movies that aren't even on your list. There's only one that can't be on your list, so I'm having a hard time like trying to figure out what the heck your list is, man.
Solo's coming at number 5 for sure.
It must be.
He's like, I couldn't remember it at all. I
Solo
put
was
it at
my
5.
number 11 again because I could not remember it at all. This was good. I will say this: I started to appreciate like the like what Ewan McGregor did, but a lot of it when I first saw it, I was just kind of like, "Yeah, you're the chosen one, Anakin." And I love Ewan McGregor, and I'm like, why are you having him do line readings like this? And it's fine, and you know what? It gets better, but that still the anger and the vitriol with all of the different kinds of things. It's still there, and I'm gonna put it low on the list. I don't care. It's not high on the list, but it deserves a spot. It's not as bad as some of those the sequel trilogy as opposed to the prequels or originals. I don't know why you guys put this so high on your list. This is terrible.
I got my reasons.
All right, Charlie, what's your reasons? Let's talk about Rise of Skywalker for a moment.
Oh, Rise of Skywalker. This benefited from not being the other movies that are behind it. It's a chaotic mess. This new trilogy is so all over the place and just so not thought out at all. And there's interesting ideas in each of the movies, but they do not connect or intersect. And it's like each sequel kind of threw away whatever the sequel in front of it did. But this one at least had action.
It did, and it had some cool action too.
Had some good action scenes.
I thought it had some really cool lightsaber fights. I specifically think about like the Rey versus Kylo on like the water planet while the water's splashing up against him. That's really cool, man.
Yes. It was so cool. He kills her, and then she kills him, and then they come back again, and they're all fine. Everything's great. Why did they fight at all? They're just going to
all the
kill,
ships,
then die,
all
and then
the
kill,
ships
and
showing
then die.
up. Come on, all the ships showing up.
I mean, if we're gonna play the why bother at all? I mean, like the as soon as Force Awakens came, it was like why do we have the original trilogies? Why do we have Rogue One? It's all meaningless. Everything gets kind of thrown out by what comes after it. Everything within these movies is largely just kind of cyclical, and
they did the whole.
Not
and
a great
you know
movie. Not a great movie.
It's from Endgame, bro. That whole all of those. Hey, yeah, there's more of us. I was like, oh, on your left, huh? Okay, great, on your left.
But we are starting to get to the place where the good is outweighing kind of like my negative feelings on these. And look, these newer trilogies, look, we clearly have 3 old man lists. We passed through May the 4th, and so I teach piano lessons, guitar lessons. So I've got a lot of kids that love Star Wars, and so I teach them some Star Wars music around May the 4th. And I ask, oh, what are your favorite movies? And without fail, like everyone that would get under the age of 15 is like, oh, the new trilogy is my favorite. The original ones are too old. Yeah, so I know this is kind of like an old man yelling at cloud list in general. And whichever Star Wars movies were like the Star Wars of your youth, maybe you were a child when the prequels came out and you loved the prequels. I mean, you kind of grow up with a certain amount of Star Wars movies that become more part of your story. Which is not to say that you can't be a young person who loves the old movies or an old person who loves the new ones. But just in general, I am aware that my list is like an old man's list.
Absolutely. We are guys who grew up from a young age.
Mine's a young man's list. I don't care what they say. Mine's a young man's list.
One thing with Rise of Skywalker that always sort of bugged me. I think it has some really cool set pieces. I think that there are some really cool visuals. I think that they were able to use the technology that we have currently to really make some really neat scenes. One thing that it did that always sort of bugged me is because Rey then became a Palpatine. To me, it sort of turned all of Star Wars into less of a Skywalker story and more into a Palpatine, because now you can watch all of the Star Wars movies, and from episode 1, you can watch Palpatine rise to power. He's in power throughout the original trilogy, and then you know that he's kind of coming back into power through Rey, culminating in Rise of Skywalker. And I'm like, that's weird that all 3 trilogies now are sort of this Palpatine story, and it really kind of changes like everything as you're watching it. It's kind of like, whoa, that's weird. If for a movie that's called Rise of Skywalker, you know, and yes, she calls herself a Skywalker at the end, but it's like, whoa, you just changed the franchise, man.
Well, and they try, and they did that in Last of Jedi too. Like, this is the problem. Like, they got the kid with the broom, and it's like anyone can use the Force. In fact, it's not even special to be a Jedi. Like, in the Last Jedi, suddenly everyone's a Jedi. It's a weird. They set it up in Force Awakens that Rey's going to have this like mystery parent that, and then in Last Jedi they're like, actually, the mystery was that her parent is nobody. And then in Force Awakens, or then in Skywalker, like, you know what? Actually, it's Palpatine, and they just keep like that. No plan. Yeah. It's maddening. How can you make this holy franchise a new trilogy and not think through 3 movies? It is baffling to me. They didn't sit there and outline and arc out a full story from start to finish. It is crazy. They're just like, hey, you know what? What if her parent was somebody? We'll figure it out later. We'll make it somebody special. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out next movie. Let's just write this first one. Let's get it out there. It's a soft reboot of the franchise. We're basically redoing New Hope. We're going to do it bigger. We're going to do it blastier. And then we'll figure out the rest later. It's insane to me. Yeah. Like, it could have been amazing.
All right. Number 6. All right. Dylan has episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Charlie has Rogue One. What? And I have The Force Awakens. So that is all. I now have the entire prequel trilogy on my list. I'll go ahead and start it out. Force Awakens, listen, it was fine. It's fine. It's kind of a rehash of A New Hope. It kind of introduced some new stuff. It started, I think it's definitely the best of the sequel trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Before it just went completely off the rails. As Charlie was just saying, like, it set up a lot of interesting things. I remember the 3 of us having conversations, essentially the same conversation types of conversations that we have now on Talk Punch. We would have on 3-way calls, and we were, talking about who could Rey's parents be. Like, they set a lot of stuff up that then just went and it went nowhere, and so this had some interesting characters. Rey was interesting. I like Poe Dameron. They kill off Han, which okay.
Didn't care for that. I did not like the Ben. Like,
John Boyega was great as Finn.
Yeah, John Boyega was cool.
Really Finn was awesome. And like the idea that stormtroopers were like people. Like, okay, that's interesting. That's surely we're going to explore that more in the sequels. Nope.
No.
And like, look, there's just like Captain Phasma. Oh, she's awesome. I can't wait to see more of her in the next one. Nope.
Oh, let's go.
We're going to kill her off unceremoniously, quickly, and without reason. We're going to Boba Fett her. It's like,
yeah. So it just, for me, that's the sequel trilogy. They're in the bottom 5. I just didn't care for them. But Charlie, Rogue One.
Yeah, look, I think this is a better movie than Force Awakens, but it's also just like, if I'm sitting there, I was trying to think about which ones I would watch, and it's just a downer of a movie, and it's a lot of political intrigue and things like that, and it's like, you've seen it a couple times. The show is better. I think Andor is more interesting. If you're going to watch something in this universe, like, just give me Andor. I don't know. It's not one that I would gravitate towards
that
to watch
Vader ending
on a night. So like, I have Force Awakens over this.
Yeah,
but it's just because if I was going to watch something, give me something with just a little more lightheartedness to it. That it suits more moods than Rogue One. I'd have to be in a particular mood to watch Rogue One. Now, watching scenes like that Darth Vader fight, bring on the scenes. But like as as a whole, 2.5 hour experience or whatever.
There you go.
Good movie though. Good movie. Watch Andor. It's good.
All right, Dylan, episode 2.
We've talked enough Clone Wars. Unless you want to defend,
I don't
you
like
wanna-
sand.
Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones.
Coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere.
His favorite part of Attack of the Clones is when Ewan McGregor gets knocked out in the beginning of the Dooku.
He's just
Interesting
out for
because as
He's so
they
bad.
kind of
Obi-Wan
had
is so bad
dissected
at
that
fighting.
first fight, they didn't include any. George Lucas had all of this different thing. In the novel, they described this fight as a lot different. They came in like Anakin and Kenobi. They came at Dooku, and at first he was like, huh. But then they had switched styles to the styles they actually were getting really good in. This is when Obi-Wan became a master of Sarisu. I think it was, I can't remember which one it was with Anakin. But either way, he was scared, and it just didn't show any of it. It showed none of it, actually.
Can we talk real quick about Obi-Wan? Talk about someone who was done dirty. The more Star Wars that were made, we get
episode 2 especially, man.
In Phantom Menace, he slices Darth Maul in half. Doesn't kill him. They bring
Doesn't
Darth Maul
kill
back.
him.
Doesn't even kill him.
Well, how is he supposed to know that?
Then he goes on. He can't defeat Dooku. He can't defeat anybody. He goes and fights Anakin. Doesn't kill him. Turns him into Darth Vader. And then the TV show, he goes and fights Darth Vader. Leaves him under some rubble. Still leaves him alive. He can't kill anybody. He can't finish anything. The best contribution he has was turning into a pile of clothes. Where he's like, I will be more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Only he never is. He's just a pile of clothes and a shiny Force ghost at the end of the movie is like, hey.
He did kill General Grievous.
That's true.
It's a robot. Can you even kill a robot?
He's a
cyborg.
He's a cyborg.
You got too many arms for a cyborg.
Yeah. Episode 2, Kenobi is immediately knocked out in the fight with
Dooku.
And then in the very last fight, immediately knocked out when they're again fighting Dooku. And like,
wait a minute, wait. He wasn't. Okay, he wasn't
was
knocked out. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
He's like
not great.
Hey, Jedi Master here,
And then he's like later on in his memoirs, he's like, the best lightsaber fight I ever had was when I turned Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader. You're welcome, Alderaan.
You're welcome, Alderaan. You guys ever see that robot? I love that. Never thought about it. The robot chicken thing where they're like leaving at like the Death Star, and after Obi-Wan dies, and like Leia is just like, "Oh, you okay, Luke?" And he's like, "Oh, I knew him so well." She's like, "You knew him for your whole life?" He's like, "Well, a couple of days." She's like, "Oh, well, we should definitely be upset because this guy you knew for a couple of days, my entire planet got blown up, but I'm so sorry. Here, let me give you a like."
The robot chicken Star Wars stuff is so good. It's good.
Really great.
On Amazon
All
Prime,
right.
or HBO Max, I guess. Better.
Number 5s. Okay, now we have Dylan has The Force Awakens. Charlie has Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And I have Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So, Dylan, The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Yes.
Number 5.
You know what? There is a feeling of Star Wars movies that I felt it in the original trilogy, and I felt it with some of the prequels, and with this one, it got me excited. When I saw The Phantom Menace, when it was leading up to it, and we first saw it, and you see Jedis come out, and it's Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, they got lightsabers, like before anything stupid happened, before all of this other like trash. I actually was like, this is a Star Wars movie right here. This made me feel like it's a Star Wars movie. And this did it too. I like The Force Awakens. Were there parts of it that I thought, yeah, this is stupid. Hey, this is not, like, is this even Star Wars? I don't even know. When Poe Dameron was like, what? Who talks first? I talk, you talk? Like, I was just like, oh. You've got to improvise. Otherwise, you're just going to have to read dialogue that someone who thinks like George Lucas is going to write. But I still liked it. I loved Finn. I thought John Boyega was absolutely
really
fantastic.
good in this.
I thought that Poe Dameron. I thought that it was fantastic. Ray, Daisy Ridley, all of these people. I liked it. Yeah. And to see Han Solo on the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca, come on! I was just like, and then talking to Princess Leia, I was just like,
yeah,
I can't
after
believe they didn't
Han,
put those three.
Yeah.
like abandon Princess Leia.
Well, I mean, and Luke tried to murder his son. Like the whole thing is just so. The fact that they did all this and didn't even reunite the three of them at some point.
Yeah,
right.
Ridiculous.
I will say,
not one shot were all of them in.
Yeah, for Force Awakens.
Unbelievably stupid.
For Force Awakens, probably one of the top 10 greatest trailers of all time.
Great trailer.
The trailer where they had that slower Star Wars music. They had the X-wings going over the water. I mean, you had the
I didn't
Chewie
see...
We're home. It was
I never watched Gossip Girl, so I was not familiar with Adam Driver. But when he took off his helmet, somebody was like, "Snape is freaking dark!" like this, and I was like, "Snape? That's fantastic. That is Snape." Everybody else like, "Oh, he's in Gossip Girls." I'm like,
Snape was force sensitive. It's good.
Snape was force sensitive.
I will say,
All
Revenge
right.
of the Sith, probably in our original list was lower. This is one I've come around on as I've gotten older. I think it was one
I'm
that
the same way.
that I really didn't like when it first came out, and it's grown on me. And part just because my two oldest boys, I've got like hours of video of them and recreating the ending Anakin fight scene between Obi and they memorize the dialogue, and they're but to me the Jedi are evil, and it's just like they're so cute, they're so nerdy. I love it, and so like this, it really like softened my heart to that, watching them with that and having them like latch on to certain scenes like that and recreating them in real life. So this one is I've warmed up to for a variety of reasons, but that honestly that's probably the main one. I'll have to show you guys the videos. I'm sure my kids would love that.
I think for me, for Revenge of the Sith, is that when it came out, it was pretty low on the list, and then more movies came out, which just by default pushed it up the list. Revenge of the
Oh no,
Sith
I still
is in
hate
my-
it. It's just my number 5.
Is in my top 5. I'm like, how did that happen? I don't know. They
There's
released
a ringing
3 bad
endorsement
ones.
from Brody right there. I did not care for how like easily the Jedi were killed. How it was just like we spend 6 movies up to this point of learning how powerful they are, and then people are like, oh, shooting them works. We never thought of that before.
They were taken by surprise. Order 66. They
They're
were,
not saying you took
They're
Spider-Man
not
by
supposed to
surprise.
be taken by surprise.
they were taken by
Jedis,
surprise,
bro.
They didn't know what was happening.
Jedis.
They sensed
They were
tremors in the Force, man.
They were
Yeah.
friends. They were friends with the stormtroopers. They didn't know the stormtroopers They were just friends with.
Okay, first off,
2 seconds
not
ago,
all of
we're
them
gonna
were
start
friends.
shooting
Okay,
them.
Kiadi-Mundi, they would have killed Kiadi-Mundi because of how he treated the clones without Order 66. They hated Kiadi-Mundi. With a guy he has like the white goatee. He's like, hey, come on, what? And then they all shoot him. I was like, yeah, they hated you, bro. They would have shot you either way. But no, yeah, I totally agree. Yoda was
pretty
the only
disappointing.
one who was like, hey, wait a minute.
It would have been
There's
like
murderous intentions towards me.
like the 3rd or 4th Avengers movie if someone just like was like, hey, and then like a bunch of random people with guns, like faceless thugs, started shooting and they all died. And it was like, oh no, there goes Captain America, there goes Iron Man. They were just shot. Oh, they weren't really that powerful. Oh no.
Lightsaber, schmight saver.
And I like the lava fight. I like the Darth Vader stuff.
Lava fight is good.
It's fun. This to me felt like the most Star Wars of the prequels.
Agreed.
This kind of toes that line of the best of the prequels, but still like
Dylan still got a prequel coming.
after all the Dylan still has a prequel coming.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
I
because
do.
of
He loves
one
that.
scene,
He loves him
dude.
that Darth Maul, baby.
One scene, and Dylan like, movie's great.
Well, put up number 4.
Hey,
Let's see.
you know
if we
what?
get, let's see if we get lucky.
Okay,
Number 1.
number 4. All right, Dylan has The Phantom Menace. Charlie has
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. God, that's a hard.
Wow,
movie.
higher on the list than mine. That's good.
And then I have Rogue One.
I think, and I'll just say, like, there are moments. I think the ideas in Force Awakens are awesome. We've talked about it today, so I'm not going to really hit that. But it's a movie that I would rather watch start to finish, while
Yeah.
acknowledging that there are not nearly as many high highs in that as some of the movies that are behind it. I think there's some like maybe it's lacking in some of like the truly spectacular moments, like that Darth Maul lightsaber fight or that lava lightsaber fight. It doesn't have those moments, but just start to finish, a more complete film for me than some of these other ones, and that's why it's higher.
And it really feels like a Star Wars movie still.
Yes, they threw it all.
Phantom
away.
Menace for me. I mean, I put myself back when I
Just
first
because
saw
of Duel of
Phantom
the
Menace.
Fates. One scene
No, it's
puts
not
it
just
at number
because of
4 on
Duel
your
of the
list.
Fates. No, bro, it's not just because of a piece of music that's probably my favorite of all time. It also happens to be a very phenomenal fight scene that goes with it, with some phenomenal characters and fantastic performers.
One scene.
You
That's what I
got
said,
Ray
it's one
Park
scene.
with a double lightsaber, bro. Ray Park with a double lightsaber. Ewan McGregor
It's awesome.
and get this fantastic. When I first saw them, I
Doesn't make it
remember,
number
dude,
4 movie.
I remembered Return of the Jedi when I saw that in theaters. I was like, I'm seeing 2 Jedi walk in their robes, and they're calling them Jedi Master, Jedi Knights. I'm like, that's fantastic. And it was, I mean, when I first saw it, I had a whole, I had to put all of that stuff. I tried to put all that in my forefront because when I watched that movie, it was a horror. It was a bunch of ridiculousness. But the point is,
they shouldn't have killed Qui-Gon Jinn in that movie. He was out there seducing widows.
Yes.
He was like he was an interesting chap. We needed him because as soon as like this is like it's like the Star Trek red shirt. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen the other Star Wars movies and he's not in them, so he's probably not going to make it. At least like the surprise would have been if like Darth Maul had not killed him in that scene. You're like, as soon as that scene starts, you're like, well, he's dead. Like he's not going to make it.
This is back when they had CDs, and I purchased the CD, and right on the back it's like Qui-Gon's funeral. I'm like, okay, all right, well, wow.
Hey, that's on you. You love
That
those
is on me.
spoilers. Never read the
like-
tracks on a CD.
It's like
on a
reading the
movie
tie-in
CD.
novel, man. Come on.
That's
All right,
not
put up defend Rogue One or put up our number 3s.
No, hey,
Rogue One.
you know what? I really like Rogue One. I was actually Rogue
Really?
One
Why?
for
Uh-huh.
most of the time that I was making this list was my number 3. I really like Rogue One. I
Why?
love Jedi. I love Jedi, right? But I also really like this idea of having a story that doesn't have Jedi, that are in a different part of this universe, that we're focusing on the rebellion. We're focusing on this other side of things that we don't get to see a lot of. And we didn't see any of until we got Andor. And I think that the Andor series is really just building up this movie even more.
Yeah, no. You can't say anything about Andor. We're not talking about Andor. We're talking about Rogue One.
Well, then without talking about Andor, then Rogue One is the only side of this rebellion that we actually get to see that don't have the Jedi involved. And I think it's really interesting. We know that all the people are going to die. That's fine. I'm okay with that because it's still an interesting story. I really like Jyn Erso. I really like Andor. I really like K2SO. I think that I really like Donnie Yin. I think that that's really interesting that you can have somebody who respects the Jedi enough and respects the Force enough without having to be a Jedi, who can go through that. I think all the stuff with the building of the Death Star, this wasn't just something that somebody just dreamed up. Like there was an actual plan that had to be in place, and they had to build this thing. And so you have oh gosh, what's the guy's name?
Forrest Whitaker?
I can't. Huh?
Forrest Whitaker? Mads Mikkelsen.
Although Saw Gerrero is cool
Jimmy
too,
Smits.
and that. No. The
Jimmy
guy who was
Smits,
in
that's it.
charge of building the Death Star. I don't remember.
Alistair
his name
Petrie.
now. No. So we get to see the Imperial side of the politics that go into building the Death Star, right? I'm really interested in all that because we've been so focused on Skywalker and this Skywalker family. I really appreciated being able to take a sidestep from that and see a different story for a change. So there you go.
All right, let's put up those number 3s.
Number 3. All right. Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi.
All right.
There we go.
It's great. You know what? And okay, so as I was just saying, for a long time, within the past couple of days when I was building this, Rogue One was actually ahead of Return of the Jedi. And it came down to, okay, if I had to remove one from history, what would I rather remove? So I removed Rogue One because I have so much history with Return of the Jedi. As a kid, it was my favorite one.
Oh yeah.
I think that the throne room fight scene is just magic to me. I have
speeder
so many
bikes in the forest.
The speeder bikes
yeah.
are amazing. You know, but
Jabba
the
the
stuff
Hutt.
at the end, the stuff between Luke and Vader and the Emperor at the very end is like so magical and so special to me.
Yeah,
like it's so ingrained in me that this movie had to be.
This is like the best Luke we get.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah,
don't.
this is
He ain't doing well.
I have
in
to say,
Last Jedi. He ain't doing so good.
Jeez. I've watched this again. I revisited all of these with the daughter, and I remember watching this one, and the wife comes in, and I was just like, I remember when I watched this, my dad was there with us, and it's the scene at the end where he's like, hey, Luke wasn't on there when it blew up, and Leia was just like, oh, I know, he's okay. He's like, you love him, don't you? And she was just like, of course I do. And he's like, I won't get away. And she's like, he's my brother. And he has a look that cracked my dad up so much so she kisses him and he still opens his eyes like, what? And then he's like, hey, okay, good. But I mean, like, he's just like, and she grabs his face and kisses him and he's like, still just like, what the heck? What? His face is fantastic. Every time I remember, I remember my dad laughing at that. Just his fantastic reaction. Harrison Ford wanted to get killed off in that one, and I was like, I'm so glad he didn't. Come on.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, he did. He wanted to get killed off by the
know that.
Ewoks.
He was trying to get killed off in the first one. He's been out. He was trying to get out ever since he got
He's
it.
been trying to get killed for 3 decades. But yeah,
Put up those deuces.
All right, number 2s. A New Hope, A New Hope, A New Hope. I mean,
We
you
did
know, I guess this is going to make the top 3 pretty easy, except Dylan has Solo as his number 1 movie, which kind of throws a wrench into.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yes.
Dylan
Empire was my
left
number
off
11.
a movie.
Empire got left off. Luke's hand
You know
somewhere
what?
out there.
You know, A New Hope, it's still really enjoyable, even just as its own thing. It's still just a great watch, even knowing all the stuff that comes before it and all the stuff that comes after it. It's still kind of this contained story, and it's still just
by your own criteria, Brody. This should be number 1 on your list.
Why?
If you're removing all the other Star Wars movies, this is the one that makes the most sense.
That's true. Can't remove this one.
No.
Can't sit there and watch Empire by itself. Imagine if Empire was the only Star Wars movie that exists, to be like, what is happening?
Excuse me?
I think it'd still be great.
It's great. This is the one my daughter actually sat down and was like starting to actually really like watch. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. It got her attention like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, this sets up everything. And yes, the lightsaber fight, not great. You know, it's kind of two
All
old
of it,
men
though,
kind
it's
of.
really fun. It's really rewatchable.
Fun movie.
It is, but
Alec
the
Guinness
lightsaber
as
fight's not
Obi-Wan.
great.
Not great.
No, it's not.
It's not
No,
great. That's okay.
it's not.
It's not.
That's okay.
But that's
though.
okay. That's okay. It's still.
okay.
It's still.
It was the first
still a
time.
great movie.
Our first time.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right, let's just move on to number 1 so we can gush about this one. Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back. Also, Charlie, the poster that you put on Dylan's right there of the Han Leia kiss, the Vader in the background. That's my favorite movie poster of all time.
That's a great poster.
It
That's a great
is
poster.
such a good poster.
But you don't like the Luke and Leia about to kiss? You don't like that moment in Empire? That's the moment right there.
They
was
aren't
a
about
peck.
to. They
it's
do.
fine. It's
They
a
do,
peck.
but they haven't yet.
Bro, it's not a
It
peck.
was.
If you
it was
look at
just
me
a-
like
look at-
Leia
look at
kissed
right
him,
there.
I'd
That's
be
the
like,
peck.
what?
There was no tongue. It's not like it was an open mouth kiss.
Look at her eyes and that still shot right there. Look at his face.
That's not
They-
even
they
from
are
the
in
movie.
love.
Whatever. That's not even from the movie.
That's from the movie.
No, it's not. When is that in the movie?
When they're making out. You don't remember them kissing a bunch?
They did not. No, he was laying on the bed recovering.
Oh, we might have watched different versions.
Oh, it's possible I watched the parody. I don't know.
This is a great movie, though.
Oh,
really, really
yeah.
good.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's fantastic.
I think that this hits it all. We get the space stuff. We get the Jedi stuff. We get the training. We get a
Cloud
nice, awesome lightsaber
Cloud
fight,
City.
especially after the New Hope lightsaber fight. This lightsaber fight was like amazing.
Billy D. Williams is Lando Calrissian.
Billy D.
Coolest guy
Williams
in the
is
absolute
So
coolest.
cool.
awesome.
Still is.
We get more
Coolest guy in the
creatures.
galaxy.
Still
we
is.
just get more of everything. We get Yoda. Oh my gosh, this movie is so good, and it ends on a downer note. You guys are complaining about Rogue One and how much of a downer
Planet
note
of
it
Hoth
is.
and Dagobah.
Oh, Hoth is amazing with the walkers and the
Awesome.
Oh, the
speeders.
walkers.
Oh my gosh, the whole stinking thing. So good.
Yeah,
This-
this is so cool.
They go
This-
in, they
this
it's
is the
going
best
through
one.
the asteroid field, and they landed the cave.
Yeah.
I was like, here,
The
well, I was telling my
Minot.
daughter, I was like, watch this freaking cave right here. It's a cave, all right.
Billy D's
Yeah.
89 years young.
No way.
Gonna be 90 next year.
That's
But look,
That's
yeah,
cool.
Brody. This one ends on a downer, but there's so much up in the movie too. Like it just gives you.
Yeah.
There's so, and it's just it world builds, gives you like exposition and world building without it ever really being boring. Which is
Yeah.
really hard to pull off. New
And you know-
characters.
you know what?
new-
They
the plot
actually-
lines, good.
I love the plot line when they say, hey, you know what? Luke, don't go to Cloud City. Literally, everything would have been a lot. I mean, like, hey, all right. He didn't stop, Solo from going into Carbonite. He didn't, like, Leia and Chewie and all of the rest. I mean, they helped themselves. They were on their way out. They could have probably found, like, Boba Fett if they didn't have to go back to go get Luke. I love the fact he's like, oh, I'm going to go and help him. Oh, look at this. And they were completely correct. He didn't need to go back, get his hand cut off, all of these different things. He could have stayed and finished his training like he should have done. And I love that. I love that he didn't. It wasn't like this big, great moment. It was one of those things where you're like, you just screwed everything up. Why'd you do this? And it still was fantastic. It still showed his character and all of those kinds of things. It just tied all the way up with that.
And it doesn't.
Plus, we get the Vader reveal of the father.
Get the
yeah,
Vader
Even
reveal.
even knowing it, it's still such a cool moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say like I was too young to appreciate how big of a twist that was. Like,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
you know, and then it's just like such common knowledge nowadays. It's hard to appreciate how mind blowing that would have been if we had been like our age now,
Man.
watching it for the first time, going, "What?
I
What?"
wish I could have experienced
yeah.
that. So yeah. So there you go. There is the top 10s.
Our
So,
first ever simultaneous top 10 where we have the exact same top 3. By the way, this is
the exact same
great.
top 3. So
Talk Punch first?
let's go ahead. Before we get to that, though, if you've made it this far, you must be enjoying us some at all, right? You've been watching us for 55 minutes. So if you're still here, hey, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're putting out episodes regularly. How about that? Stuff just like this. So come back, join us now for our number 3 with 24 points. What? Return of the Jedi.
You'll never guess what's next.
Number 2, Star Wars: A New Hope. What? With 27 points. And at number 1, yes, Charlie, I'm so glad that you put that poster. Thank
It's a great
you
poster.
for doing that. Number 1, Empire Strikes Back with 30 points. Oh boy. I'm not surprised.
No.
For the three of us, for how much we have talked about this over the years, I'm not surprised that we had the same top 3.
Good
Makes
movies.
sense.
But this was still fun. It was still stressful. Still, boy,
Yeah.
I have my glass desk that I can write on with my dry erase marker, and I had numbers all over the place and arrows, and that should go there, and I need to erase that and put that there and that. And which one's better, Phantom Menace or Rise of Skywalker? I don't know. It was tough.
You don't know.
Well, I know now because technically
Now you
I
know.
put my stuff in there.
It's okay. We forgive you.
But this was fun. Charlie, Dylan, I love going through this stuff with you guys. This is like history for us, and I love it. I love talking with you guys about this. All right, you guys have anything else to add about this?
No, I hope the new movie is good. Hopefully, it'll bump some of these down the list. Fingers crossed.
Although,
Fingers crossed.
is
I
it
don't know.
Charlie? Do you? No, it's Dylan has this as his bomb pick for our fantasy league.
Yeah.
Right.
I do?
Yeah.
Dylan,
Oh.
You do.
yeah. You
Oh,
picked
yeah, no,
Mandalorian
yeah,
Grogu
that's right, I
as
do, yeah.
the bomb, so
I
you
stand
don't
by
think
it.
it's going to do well. But we hope
I
that it's
stand
good.
by it.
We hope.
Yeah, I
that
hope
it's
it does really well.
I hope it does too, but I got to be strategic when it comes to that. I
Way,
hope
way
it's
better
great.
for my my
I don't
fantasy
think
team
it
if
will
it does
be.
really well.
I don't think it will be. I want it to be. I'd love to be surprised. I won't be.
All right, Charlie, you want to go ahead and wrap this one up?
Yeah, hey, hit us up in the comments. Let us know your favorite. You can do the full 10. You can give us your top 3, whatever you want to do. Throw the Clone
Change
Wars
our
movie in there
minds.
if you want. Tell us why you love what you love, because it's awesome that there's so many flavors in the Star Wars universe for different people to enjoy. So, I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time here at TTP, where you always rank number
Bye.
1.
May the Force be with you. Always.
you are. Try you must.